Okay, just imagine this for a second. You're checking your email, and a message pops up that literally erases decades of debt. Just gone. Well, for a very specific group of student loan borrowers, that's not a dream. It's exactly what's happening right now. So, we're going to break down who's getting this relief, why it's happening, and what it all means.
Yeah, one source really hit the nail on the head with this one. And, for people who've been making payments for decades, this isn't just some little treat. This is the end of a long, long financial nightmare.
And this is the actual message they're seeing. Can you imagine those words popping up in your inbox? It's not some future promise or a complicated plan you have to apply for. Nope. This is the final confirmation. For thousands of people, this one sentence is the finish line of a financial marathon. So the big question is, who's actually getting these magical emails? Now, this isn't the big, sweeping, universal forgiveness plan that you hear about in the news. It's a very targeted program for a very specific group of borrowers who held up their end of a very, very long-term deal. It all centers on this one program, the Income-Based Repayment Plan, or IBR. The idea behind it was pretty simple, right? Tie your monthly payments to how much you actually earn so you can afford them. But the real promise, the light at the end of a really long tunnel, was that if you made those payments consistently for decades, whatever was left would be completely wiped out, forgiven. And just look at the journey here. This is not a short-term fix. We are talking about enrolling in a plan and then making payments month in and month out for 20 or even 25 years. I mean, think about that for a second. The people getting these emails probably started this whole process back in the late 90s or the early 2000s. It's only now that they're finally reaching that finish line. Okay, so once that initial wave of relief sinks in, a brand new worry might just pop up: the tax man, right? Because historically, when a big chunk of debt is forgiven, it can be counted as taxable income. And that could mean a huge, unexpected bill. So is that what's happening here?
This, right here, is the critical date. There's a law on the books that makes federal student loan forgiveness tax-free, but only through the end of 2025. You can see how important that timing is. Without this temporary window, all that good news of forgiveness would come with a really nasty tax surprise.
So where did this tax-free status come from? Well, it's from a specific provision in the 2021 American Rescue Plan. That legislation created this crucial shield, protecting borrowers from what could have been a massive tax bill that might have wiped out a lot of the relief.
But, the timing can get a little tricky. Let's think of it like mailing a letter. The effective date is the day you postmark it. That's the day you make your final payment. The processing date is when the loan servicer, the company that manages your loan, actually gets around to opening the letter and doing the paperwork. Well, the Department of Education has made it really clear that it's the postmark, the effective date, that matters for taxes. So as long as that final payment was made before the end of 2025, the forgiveness is tax-free no matter how long the processing actually takes.
But why now? Why are all these emails suddenly going out? You'd think this would be a smooth, automatic process, but it wasn't. For a while there, it actually wasn't happening at all. A pretty major roadblock had to be cleared first.
So get this, earlier this year, the whole process just stopped. It ground to a halt. The Department of Education actually paused all IBR forgiveness applications. This led to a lawsuit from the American Federation of Teachers, who basically argued that the department was failing to keep its promise. And you know what? That legal pressure worked. An agreement was reached to start processing again. And that's what immediately unlocked this wave of forgiveness emails we're seeing today. All right, so let's pull all this together. What are the biggest things you should take away from all of this? Let's break it down.
First and foremost, this forgiveness is real. It's happening now, and it's a decades-old promise finally being kept. But the fact that it took a lawsuit to make it happen, well, that shows there are still some deep systemic challenges in the student loan world. For the borrowers, this means a major boost to their credit reports as that huge debt is finally wiped clean. And here's a really great little detail. If they accidentally made any payments after they technically qualified for forgiveness, they're going to get that money back as a refund. So at the end of the day, for the thousands of people getting these emails, this is a life-altering victory. It's proof that the promise they signed up for maybe 20, 25 years ago was actually real. But the journey to get here, the delays, the pause, the lawsuit, it all raises a much bigger question. Is this a sign that the system is finally working as intended? Or is this just a temporary patch for one group, while the deeper cracks in the whole student loan system are still there?